Why does Dana White hate Arman Tsarukyan so much? That was my headline on this. Why does Dana hate Arman so much? He just had a dominant performance, finished the fight, was chasing the submission or the knockout the whole time, did a great job getting the work done, made it look easy. He made it look easy against Dan Hooker, who's always dangerous. Sure, he's not the best wrestler in the world, but man, he's a joy to watch. I love Dan Hooker. I'll always tune in to watch him fight. That fight was supposed to be for the number one contender spot. This fight now, all of a sudden, is for the number one contender spot. It's for the interim title. That guarantees you the number one contender spot. Where does that put Arman, and how do you see this fight going between Pimblett and Gaethje?
You said, why did Dana White hate Arman? And it's because Arman screwed what could have been the biggest event of 2025. He screwed it. He, by himself, he screwed it. It was entirely his fault. Nobody else's fault. Nobody to blame. He was supposed to fight Islam in January. He pretended he had a back injury the night before. How suspicious. He pretended he had a back injury the night before, and then Islam ends up fighting Renato Moicano. It screwed up the whole card because it was supposed to be Renato versus Beneil, and like you move the whole card around, it screwed up the entire thing. I imagine they lost real money. Like I imagine the difference in pay-per-view buys from Islam versus Arman to Islam versus Renato Moicano. I mean, they might have lost $50 million. Literally, that could literally be the number. The difference between if Arman showed up and didn't show up. So he is still paying his dues. He's still paying off that debt. The UFC basically wouldn't book him a fight. They told him he's not getting a title shot anytime soon. They made him weigh in as a backup when Ilya fought Charles Oliveira. He made weight, so he proved that he could actually make championship weight. They gave him the Dan Hooker fight. Fine. They did say it was a number one contender matchup, and then that's just not how that all played out. We don't know everything that happened behind the scenes. Obviously, Ilya is going through a divorce. I assume it's not going well. if he is not fighting, he basically said, I will not be fighting in the first quarter. So that's January, February, March. He's not injured. So this is literally just him. Maybe it's a money thing, right? Like, hey, I can't make $5 million right before getting divorced. Are you out of your mind? I need to get this paperwork finalized and then I'll make my money. Maybe it's that. But obviously, when he told the UFC, I can't fight for a little, I can't make money or whatever it is, I'm not in the right headspace, the UFC was like, well, the division moves on. We need to do an interim belt. What I assume that we don't know about is there must have been other conversations for different belts. Because honestly, waiting till Q2, let's say April, I don't think you need an interim title if he's fighting in April. That's less than 1 year from when he won the belt. An interim title to me is like about a year or an undisclosed or undetermined amount of time. So for 8 months to be between fights and they're doing an interim title tells me that either A, Ilya is going to be out a lot longer, or B, they literally did not have another belt to headline that event. So they were just like, all right, interim, and we'll do Paddy because people like Paddy, and Justin because we hate Arman.
I think there's so look, there is talk that he's going through a divorce, but I think more of the...
Oh, he's definitely going through a divorce.
Yeah, more of the issue is that he's trying to figure out ways to deal with the kid negotiate. Like he's got kids, I believe. He's got 1 or 2 kids.
Yeah, maybe 2. He's definitely got that son that has like great hands at his age already.
But then you're looking at, from what I understand, is like he needs to figure that all out. Like once the divorce is final, how do I have him looked after while I train? How does, like all the things that go along with being a single parent? That's got to have to be resolved. He's going to have to figure that out. Also, too, I think maybe this might be something where they go, hey, let's see where the dust settles with Paddy and Justin. And in this time frame, does Ilya put the weight on to go up to 170 and fight Islam? That is something in the back of my mind. Is this a way of saying, he's going through this right now? Just take this time to go through your divorce, to put the size on properly. That's the only reason why I could really think like why you would put a interim title up. Even if you're back by June, by International Fight Week, July, who cares? You've got
Yeah.
this fight happening, and then you could even have Arman fight the winner of this fight.
There's definitely something like that. That's why I didn't even think of that piece of it. I was alluding more towards, they looked at all of the, Alex either isn't ready or they're saving him for something else. They already got the 45 belt on the line. 35 is happening this weekend. 25 is happening this weekend. Like, I think they looked at the belt. Welterweight just happened. Hamzat just hurt his foot. So Hamzat's out. And given the way that he just beat DDP, who the hell would you even do an interim title fight over there? So I think they looked at it and they're like, this is the only Paddy for a belt is like the only thing we can do right now to headline an event with a meaningful title that'll get people talking. And I think most people will logically agree, like, all right, Paddy in that title fight is not crazy. It's not ridiculous. He has a lack of top 5 wins, but he will be Taporia's dietitian to make 170. Just get a Thanksgiving bowl, a couple egg rolls. I think Paddy's on a 7-fight win streak in the UFC. He's never lost in the UFC. He's got 7 wins. They've gotten more dominant over time. So I think Paddy in that slot's not a big deal. It's the Justin Gaethje side that people are pissed about because that should be Arman. I think it's literally 2 things. What the hell? And this dude Charlie doesn't shut up about me either.
Oh, he loves you, man. He loves you. He's just giving you, busting your balls. That's when they really actually do like you.
Believe me, I was raised by immigrants in the Northeast. I have very thick skin.
There's so many things to wrap my head around when it comes to this because this could be a moment for Ilya to really put on some size, take this time to put the weight on, and we could maybe see something along International Fight Week or maybe even like around Noche or something like that, September. They do a big time fight. You do Islam versus Ilya Topuria for that 3rd title. And I love the idea of Alex Pereira versus Gane. They're trying to get to that 3rd title. For somebody to win a 3rd title, they can talk about how great they are.
Is this just a theory or you genuinely think this?
No, this is the theory. This is the theory. Yeah, I mean, like, why not take this?
And I wasn't judging. I was just curious if you were like, no, I think this is what's happening, or if you're like, it could be this.
No, this is a theory. Just only based on the fact, like, this would be a good opportunity for him to take this time if he's not going to be, because he's going to be focused on his divorce, to just fucking pound some weights, man. Put up some weight, put the weight on, dip down on some calories, get after it, and let's just see what happens. Let's have you fight at 170. And let the Arman and the Gaethje and the Paddy and the guys there at the top settle it and figure out what they're going to do, and I'll fight the winner of any of them. Come back and do that.
Yeah, listen, I wouldn't hate that. That would make more sense to me than, I mean, stepping away because your family life's falling apart is logical. Like that makes sense. It would make more sense if he's moving up. Like, my life's a mess and I'm going to move up. I would love if that's happening. I think the UFC to throw Justin in here, it was 2 reasons. 1, they're still pissed at Arman, or 3 reasons. 1, they're still pissed at Arman. 2, they think Arman beats Paddy, as he would. And 3, Justin Gaethje is a company guy. He's done a lot of good stuff for the UFC. He's stepped up. He's exciting in every fight he's ever been in. He's being a little bit of a diva right now, demanding a title shot, but he's kind of earned it. He put his brain on the line more than anybody in the active roster right now. So yeah, let him get paid. Let him fight for a title. What else does this guy need to do for you? So I think it's a combination of those 3 things. And as much as it sucks for Arman, he literally did this to himself. When he did not fight Islam, he created this mess. And you don't just get over it. Like, you cost the company a shit ton of money and you destroyed an entire event. Like, and you're not John Jones, right? When John Jones creates that mess, he was at least a world champion when they
move events for John Jones. They move it from Vegas to LA.
Yeah,
they move events.
World champion. You kind of have to. Arman's not. You're trying to get a title shot. You blew it when we gave it to you. And I'm just going to. So I think it's a combination of those 3 things. They want Paddy to win. They want Paddy to be a world champion. Justin Gaethje's a good company dude. He's demanding a title fight. So yeah, fine. Here we go. This is what we did.
Let me say this. And this is my take on the Arman not making the weight or just calling about his back being out or whatever in the middle of the night. Had he just stepped on the scale, not made weight, they would have still put the fight on. And if he would have made it a good fight, if he would have made it close, he would already be fighting for the title now that Islam left. There is no doubt in my mind. If he would have just showed up, made the weight, or not made the weight, but showed up and been like, I'm off by 2 pounds, I'm off by 4 pounds, and went out there and put on a great fight. Who's to say that he didn't beat him that night? If he would have beat him and been like, yeah, that automatically warrants you another title shot. Like everyone's gonna be like, oh, you're not the real champion, Islam. Now you've got to fight him. You got to still go out there and fight. Now, I'm not saying Islam would have taken the fight. He didn't make the weight. I don't know what he would have done. I can't tell you. But you should have taken the fight, because even after, if he would have beat Arman and it was close, he would have left anyways. And then Arman would have been opened up right away, been like, hey, you and Ilya, or or whoever else, right? It would have been, the UFC wouldn't be in the position right now to like hold it over his head as much as they did. Especially if he came out and put on a great show, or he came out and got aggressive, like, and just had and got some takedowns. Look what he did to Islam. I can sell that.
Yeah.
People will forget you didn't make the weight. People do it all the time. They blame the guy who didn't take the fight. They're going to forget.
I also don't hate like this little plot line brewing in the background. I don't hate it. Let Arman just beat the shit out of Dan Hooker. That fight wasn't close. He beat the absolute piss out of him. Looked great doing it. Now all of a sudden this is happening, and Arman went from, it's Arman, not Arman, and you have me saying Arman now, like Stefan from Urkel's alter ego. Anyway, I don't hate this plot line, because let's say Arman, who just beat the hell out of Dan Hooker, Arman just got passed up for this title shot. Now there are people advocating for Arman. There's an entire fan base out there saying this is nonsense. It should be Arman. Where 6 months ago, those same people were like, Arman sucks, Arman's boring, Arman doesn't. And now it just flipped like that. It flipped on its head. Now Arman all of a sudden has a fan base. He has people rooting for him, people saying he should be in this fight. So this actually might be a good thing for Arman's career. Literally might be a good thing. He already beat Charles Oliveira. They're not going to do Max Holloway either, because they just won't, but he would beat Max if he fought Max. Benoit Saint Denis. So they give him BSD. He beats the absolute piss out of BSD. Now it's like, dude, this guy's destroying everybody. He needs a title shot. Now he built the fan base behind him. This might end up being one of the best things that happened to him.
Possibly. I think what's giving him more love is because like people are like, yeah, Paddy jumping the line, getting the main event for the interim title after Arman had a dominant performance over him. But then on top of that, they're putting this as the main event over a real title fight between Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison. They're leapfrogging the GOAT, the female GOAT, against her former teammate, who was a 2-time Olympic gold medalist and the undisputed champ. They're leapfrogging that fight. And they're not even having the number one contender fight in the interim title fight. That, I think, is also driving this a little bit more.
I get what you're saying. And I think respect-wise, the Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes fight should be the headliner. Respect-wise. Just, it's a real belt, not an interim belt. It's divisional GOATs, but it's also women's MMA. And there is still a giant portion of this fan base that doesn't give a shit. And this is objectively the biggest and best women's MMA fight you could put on. It's the biggest and best one you could do. And there's still a giant percentage of people in your chat right now that don't give a shit. And that's why they're not the headliners. And it's unfortunate. I can understand, like, in general being like, ugh, at most women's MMA fights, but this is a good one. Like, this is a very good fight that's like interesting and defines entire legacies. It's not just a fight. But yeah, that's literally why they're not the headliner.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little frustrating, I think, if you are that person.